The Ark most people remember is a cheerful little boat with a giraffe looking out of the roof. But the measurements in Genesis describe something completely different. If the common 18-inch cubit is used, Noah's Ark would have been about 450 feet long. That is longer than a football field, roughly the length of 1.5 Statues of Liberty laid on their sides. And its strangest feature may not be its size. It is what the text never tells Noah to build. Genesis gives only a compact set of instructions. Build an ark from a wood often translated as gopher wood. Cover it inside and out with pitch. Make it 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Add an opening near the roof. Place a door in the side, and divide the interior into rooms across 3 levels. Ancient cubits were not perfectly standardized. Depending on which cubit is assumed, every modern measurement changes. So 450 feet is an estimate, not a secret exact blueprint. But almost every plausible conversion creates the same impression. This was not a small fishing boat. It was a floating structure on a monumental scale. At the common estimate, the ark was about 75 feet wide and 45 feet tall. Its footprint alone would cover more than half an acre. 3 decks would create well over 90,000 square feet of floor area before accounting for walls, ramps, storage, and structural supports. That does not answer every engineering question. Genesis does not provide a complete naval plan, and a volume calculation cannot prove how animals, food, ventilation, or waste were managed. But it does correct the first misconception. The story describes a huge survival vessel, not a crowded toy. Now notice its proportions. The ark is 6 times longer than it is wide, and 10 times longer than it is high. That long box-like form would prioritize volume and stability over speed. The Hebrew word translated ark is not the ordinary word for a ship. The same word appears again for the small waterproof basket that carries the infant Moses. In both stories, the object is a sealed container of preservation carried through deadly water. And here is the missing feature. The instructions mention no sail, no mast, no oars, no rudder. Noah is not told to steer toward a destination. The ark's job is not navigation, it is survival. That detail changes the visual language of the whole story. This is not an explorer conquering the sea. It is a family enclosed inside a vessel they cannot control while the world outside disappears beneath water. The text repeatedly marks time, but 7 days, 40 days, 150 days, making the waiting feel almost as important as the storm. Then Genesis says that God remembered Noah. In biblical language, remembering does not mean that God had forgotten him. It signals that God is about to act on a covenant commitment. A wind passes over the earth, the waters begin to recede, and the ark eventually comes to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The text says mountains, not the modern peak alone. Ararat names a wider ancient region. Noah does not immediately leave. He sends out a raven, then a dove. The dove returns. Later, it returns with a fresh olive leaf. Finally, it does not return at all. The gigantic vessel completes its purpose through one tiny sign of life. This creates a striking contrast. Hundreds of feet of timber, layers of pitch, rooms, decks, and months of confinement. And the turning point is a leaf in a bird's beak. Modern arguments often rush past the text toward calculations or searches for wreckage. Those questions can be interesting, but the literary design deserves attention first. The ark is a new beginning in miniature. Living creatures enter. Chaotic waters cover the land. Wind moves over the waters. Dry ground appears and humanity receives a renewed commission. The sequence deliberately echoes the opening creation story. So how large was Noah's Ark? We cannot convert an ancient cubit with absolute precision. Yet the most familiar estimate produces a vessel about 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high, arranged across 3 decks. Large enough to erase the children's book image forever. But size is only the surface of the story. The ark preserves a new creation. And the next mystery begins where the first creation began, with a place we usually misunderstand. The Garden of Eden was not merely a beautiful garden. If you want the Bible's scale, symbols and hidden connections visualized without turning guesses into facts, join Heaven Society.